All right, welcome back to Cajun Twist. We had us a little delay. We've been really busy, had some problems with our stove. We're back on track now, still busy, but we're gonna make it work. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up this chicken right here, and I'm gonna show you how to debone the chicken, and we are gonna save the carcass for chicken stock, and we'll have pieces separate for doing regular chicken and a gravy, fried chicken, things like that. So the next video we're gonna have, since we're gonna cut up this chicken, we're also gonna make a chicken stock with it. And then the next video is gonna show you what to do with that chicken stock, some of the options you have. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut out the wishbone in the front of the chicken here, and then we'll start splitting it up. So we wanna get in there, we got a boning knife, split the skin, and we're gonna find that wishbone with our thumb right there, and we're gonna cut around it. I don't want to cut too much, but we're going to come in there and we're going to pull that out. And what that's going to do is allow us to cut through this carcass without too much of a problem. So now, first thing we're going to do after we remove the wishbone is we're going to cut this little skin right here. And we're going to grab and we're going to pull the thigh this way till that bone's exposed right there. And then all we got to do is come across. Then we take our hand here and you find that knuckle where the two bones meet. Get it in between there. You got a leg and a thigh. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm gonna pop that bone like that. All right, and we're gonna find the knuckle one more time. Right in there. All right, now I'm removing the skin. That's entirely up to you if you want to. I just would prefer to do it and leave the skin in for the stock instead of on the chicken. And we just pull that back and slide with that clear membrane and it comes right off. So now there's a bone in between these two breasts right here. We're gonna feel for it. We're gonna put our knife right on the side. We're gonna go down right where we cut through on that wishbone. And we start peeling a little bit at a time. All right. And we got us a breast and the tenderloin. Whole breast, tenderloin. Now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Just follow the bones. You'll hear the knife scraping on them. And we just pass a little bit until we get loose. And there we go. You can pull the tenderloin out. Whole nother breast. Now we go for the wings. So we're gonna pop that one back and find that knuckle, which is right in here. There's a wing, turn it, pop it out again. Now, we find that knuckle, which is right about there. And we go right through. Now, this part is gonna go for stock, and we have the whole chicken. Wings, legs and thighs. And all we do is put this up in bags and freeze it. And this, along with the other chickens that I cut up and the bones that I've been saving, are gonna go in for a good stock. So as soon as I get the ingredients set up for the stock, we will be back and we will finish this up. All right, we made it back as promised. So what we're gonna do is cut up our vegetables and we're gonna start making that stock that we talked about last night. We're doing this at about 8, 9 o'clock at night because I like to take my stock and cook it for close to 24 hours. It gets all the bone marrows out and extracts every bit of flavor you can from all the ingredients. So we got bell peppers, we have celery, we have onions, garlic, rosemary, we have some dry thyme up there. And these are the green off of leeks. You cut the white part and saute the white part and it's good. This part's generally bitter, so you get rid of it. But if you do it in a stock, as long as you're gonna cook it, it takes all that bitterness out and it adds a little bit more onion flavor in there for you. So, right there, these are good enough. We're gonna take our celery and we're just making a stock, so it don't gotta be fine. Just chop it up about like that. That's good enough. And we're not gonna worry about peelings or any of that. We're just gonna take these roots off the bottom because there's a little bit of dirt left in there. So we're just gonna cut them out like that and we're gonna leave the peelings and everything. Just take that out. Got one more to do. Wants to be stubborn and crooked, but it's okay. Wanted to fall apart on me. Okay, so we got all that done. Now we'll cut the root off the onions and we'll cut these in half like this. Take the root off. This is all gonna fall apart after cooking for so long, so it really isn't gonna matter that the onions are only cut up in half. So we're gonna finish that off. Okay, and these are all done here. So what's left to do is gonna be the bell peppers. Now, I've saved those for last because we're not gonna use the whole bell pepper. We're gonna save the good parts of the bell pepper for cooking some other stuff, but we're gonna take the top off of it like this here. Move these out the way so you can see better. And then once we get that seed pod out right there, all we gotta do is put it in our scraps, cut this in half, and quarter it one more time. And those are ready to put up and use for later. And we're gonna do the same thing here again. And if the seed pod don't come out like that one did, all you do is find these little lines inside where they're attached. Just go down, cut right there. And last one. Like that, we're gonna throw that in there. That's all waste that we would normally throw in the trash can, but because we're making a stock, it'll give us plenty of flavor and we don't have to throw it away and waste all that money on that stuff. So once again, stayed in. You're just gonna follow the lines. And that's it. Now, we're gonna take all of this stuff that we're not throwing away, and this is rosemary, and we're gonna bring it to the pot up there, and we're gonna throw it all in with our chicken bones and get everything started. See you in a second. All right, we're at the pot. Got us the biggest stock pot that Sam's had. Don't remember how many quarts it is, but I like to make a lot and put it up in the freezer, so we got some water in it already, but we're gonna have to add some more. First thing, those chicken bones and carcasses that we had from last night. Got that. We're just gonna put it right on in there. And that's done. So the next thing, we'll get some of our vegetables. The bell pepper pieces, the onions, just throw everything in there. Don't really matter. All the onions, the celery, the leek tops, the garlic, everything. We almost got it in. All right, and we got rosemary right there. Now, I knew we was gonna have to add water, so I got them ready. We're just gonna pour in, and we wanna pour it till we cover the vegetables. We still got carrots to put in, but wanted to put a little more water in first. Now, I'm using baby carrots because, in my opinion, I can't really stand eating baby carrots just directly, but this is a good way to use them. They're cheap, easy, and they got the flavor. So I just dumped the whole bag right in there. And that's done. So, next is just a little bit of seasoning. The rosemary is going to help us out with some of that. I have whole black peppercorns right here. We're just going to dump a little bit of that in there. And because I don't have any fresh thyme growing, I got to use the dry thyme. So we're just going to put some of that in there. And it don't matter if you put a lot because we're going to cook this down quite a bit. So that pretty much is it, except for a little bit more water. Those vegetables still ain't completely covered yet, but they are about to be. There. Now, the last thing we're gonna do is stir it up a little bit, and we're just gonna let it go on high right now till it starts to boil. And once it starts to boil, we'll have to come back and cut the fire down. Because we're cooking this so low and slow, it's gonna cook all the way until tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna keep it low while we're sleeping as well. And we're gonna see what it looks like. But we're gonna come back once it starts to boil, and then I cut down the fire, and you will be able to see about what the bubbling should look like when you cut it down. So once it comes to a boil and starts violently bubbling in there, we're gonna come back and start cutting down our fire and start the simmering process. All right, see y'all in a little bit. All right, now it's been probably close to about an hour. I mean, it's a huge pot full of water to get it to boiling, but go ahead and look inside here, and we see how it's boiling pretty good. The bones are floating. That means it's time to go ahead and turn that down after we stir it and mix it up a little bit. Now, we're gonna take it from high, and we wanna bring it down to between medium and low. And when we see it starting to slow down like this, that's about where we want it to be, just a little less than that, but it'll get less as it cools a little bit. But we're still gonna leave it on that medium low, and we want it to simmer for the rest of the night. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna go ahead and turn the fire off when we wake up. For the meantime, until we do go to bed, about every hour or so, we'll come in and we'll stir it up and get it to make sure nothing's sticking and make sure we got enough water in there. Tomorrow, we'll cut it off, let it cool, and then we'll start straining all that stuff that we're gonna throw away out and see what we got left. All right, see y'all tomorrow. All right, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. We cut the fire off, and now let's take a look and see what we're looking like here. We'll stir it up a little bit. You see that color was just clear water when we started. And now we got a nice bone broth chicken stock. Now we're gonna let this cool off, and it's gonna take some time. So while we go to work, we're gonna let this cool off, and then we're gonna take this and strain everything out and leave nothing but the juice and take all that trash out of there. So we will see you guys when we do that. And after that, we gotta go and put it in the refrigerator once we have our pure liquid, and that's gonna bring the fat up to the top so we can take that off, and then we can put our stock up. It's a time-consuming process. It takes a few steps, but most of it was done while I was sleeping, so it really isn't that bad. So we'll be back later to strain this and show you what it looks like when it's finished. Oh, and we don't put salt in it because we're going to put salt in whatever dish we're cooking with it in. So later on, when we decide to make a soup, we'll add the salt into the soup. So, or a gumbo or whatever we decide to do with it. So, all right, we'll see y'all after a while. All right, now we've let everything cool down to where we can actually touch it without burning ourselves. So what we're gonna do now is all the stuff that's in the pot, all this stuff we've taken the flavor out from, we're gonna get us a good ladle full, and we're gonna use this strainer here. We're just gonna bring it over right there. And we're gonna do this a whole bunch of times. So we're gonna cut for now, and whenever I get this all put in and everything strained out, I'll show you what it looks like, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge so we can let that fat rise to the top and solidify. And tomorrow, we're gonna finish everything up by taking that fat off, and we're gonna put the stock up and get it ready to freeze and make the dish we're gonna make. All right, see y'all later. All right, we're at the last step finally. So we've let it set in the refrigerator overnight. And if you look right here, you see that big old film of chicken fat. And we're gonna take that out and just strain it with this little spoon that has these nice little holes in it. And once we get done with this, we're gonna start putting it into containers to put it in the freezer. And then we can freeze it in little containers that hold about 2 to 3 cups of liquid at a time. And that way, whenever you just need to use some, you just take out what you need instead of having to defrost a whole bunch of it at one time and putting up all at one time. So once we get this fat off, I'll show you, kind of mix it up and stir it up a little bit and show you what it looks like. And we're gonna end the video with that. And we'll show you how to use this stuff once we shoot our next video. So, all right, there we go. It's good enough. So, let's sit here and stir that up a little bit. You can see it was clear water when we put it in, and now we have this rich juice that we can put in, whether we're cooking grits, mashed potatoes, a soup, a gumbo, any of the above. We add this to it, and it's gonna add some nice rich flavor instead of just using water to make your juice. So, all right, we're gonna be back later on, hopefully within the week, and we'll put you another recipe using some of this stock. All right, see y'all later.